Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Deep Thoughts with me, that guy who doth protest too much. It is indeed I. I don't know why I'm still going with this. Sorry, you could tell. If you couldn't tell, these are totally unscripted. Just my free-form thoughts, just kind of a stream of consciousness if you are new to these videos. But if you aren't new, you may be wondering where the Minute for Fruits Basket is. I'm here to tell you that I won't be doing Minutes on Fruits Basket anymore, just because I feel like I get most of my thoughts and real enjoyment from the series out of these extended thoughts videos. So I didn't really feel the need for Minute. I'm kind of wanting to save Minute for shows like, say, Isekai Quartet, where I may not have as much to say because they're a short form series, like as well as Non-Coco, stuff like that. So I want to save them for shows where I may not have as much to say, but I do want to say something about them, so I'll save them for Minute. Or shows that I just like are like the hypest thing that season, so stuff like Kimetsu no Yaiba or Attack on Titan. And while Fruits Basket may very well be my show of the season, it's not quite what I would call hype, you know what I mean? So I kind of want to save Minute for special occasions, and I don't want to do too many, so I only really want to do 4 per season going forward, and the 4 I picked were Non-Coco, Isekai Quartet, Kimetsu no Yaiba, and Attack on Titan. That said, though, the thing that got me really comfortable doing these extended thoughts videos, or deep thoughts videos, was Fruits Basket, and I am really thankful for that. So thank you guys so much for enjoying these videos, and without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into my extended thoughts on episode 3 of Fruits Basket. It kind of kills me when I was sitting here like nice and cozy, and I was like ready to be all warm and fuzzy, and the opening of this episode, and pretty much like the opening half, pretty much the whole thing, is just an emotional gut punch if you have already grown to care for Kyo and Yuki, because the whole episode is just them, not them, but the audience and Toru realizing that what really bugs Kyo and Yuki about each other is that they're jealous of each other without the other one knowing. And that is that is the saddest thing I've ever heard. It's because these two, it's funny because Toru has this little like dream or daydream about like what would happen if Kyo and Yuki could just settle their differences, and they have the like, oh bro, I didn't know that about you, I'm sorry, I misunderstood you, bro. And then they do this like this little like handhold, and it's like, let's be best friends forever. And then even Toru's like, ooh, that's creepier than I thought it would be. And I was like, oh, okay, good. I'm glad we're all on the same page. I'm positive, absolutely positive, that regardless of the fact that they are siblings, there's most certainly people who ship Yuki and Kyo. That makes me uncomfortable. And I'm glad it makes Toru uncomfortable as well. But what kills me is, like, it's sad, because, like, for Kyo, he wishes he could be part of the family. Like, he wants to be like an official member of the Soma family. That's all this dude wants. And even at something that he's good at, Yuki manages to be better than him at it. It's like, in particular, fighting. And that sucks. And you could tell why Kyo would be frustrated with Yuki, because Yuki's better than him at everything, and he's part of the family. He's like the darling of this school, and everybody loves him. And so, of course, Kyo would be upset by that. But in reverse, Yuki's jealous of Kyo, and the reason why is because that Kyo manages to blend in better with these people. It's just sort of heartbreaking, because while Kyo sees Yuki as this sort of unattainable, like oh my god, I wish I was like him, everybody loves him, Yuki sees it as, no, everybody idolizes me and puts me on a pedestal that I don't want to be on. I feel like I'm trapped in a cage, and Kyo is able to break out and be with other people and just blend in normally and have normal conversations with these people. And it like, hearing that made me like, especially the scene of like of Toru and Yuki like protecting the garden from the rain, and oh, it's such a good episode. It's genuinely heartbreaking, and I hated seeing these two like be mad at each other for reasons that seem petty but also completely genuine. Like, of course one would be jealous of the other, and of course they wouldn't tell the other that they're jealous, because that would A, solve the story rather quickly, and B, it's, yeah, they grew up as brothers, and brothers when they're jealous of each other, of course they're not going to tell the other one because they don't want to be embarrassed. And it's not even brothers, that's like a guy thing. I can attest that there's like my close friends, like I get jealous of them, and of course I would never say to their face like, I'm jealous of you because you do blank better than me. Like, you never admit that. So yeah, seeing Kyo and Yuki, like the fact that like their animosity is based on something so human but also so petty is like genuinely heartbreaking. And yeah, I'm rooting for Toru to really pull these two together. Speaking of Toru though, oh my god, she is the friggin' sweetest thing on this earth. Between the kindness as shapes and the plum on people's backs thing, it blows my mind that not once but twice this episode, almost back to back, Toru's managed to bring me to like tears, like not so much like rolling down my cheeks crying, but just like Toru managed to say something so abundantly charming and so sincere and genuine that it actually brought, like, it made me misty-eyed, like especially the plum on people's backs thing, because that's so true. The idea that people like don't know what makes them great, like and like it's hidden from them as if like a rice ball like has, like every rice ball has like a plum, right? Or like not every rice ball, but you know, like rice balls typically have plums in them, and they're typically hidden behind, hidden within. So of course, you know, people's rice balls would be on their back where they can't, or people's plums would be on their back where they can't see. The plums in this case being what makes them good, what makes them like good people, what distinguishes them from each other, their talents, their qualities. And of course, someone like Kyo is just like, what? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, you know that he definitely understood, but like he has to play it off like, what, Toru, you're crazy. But on the inside, you could tell he was just like, oh my god, she's the best. I feel like that's the same thing with Yuki. Yuki's like, oh my god, Toru's just the best. And even I'm sitting here like, oh, best girl. She's just the best. Like Toru's mom must be so proud. Like it's especially seeing like the flashbacks of Toru's mom saying like, I need you to be kind to people because you're a good person, you're a good girl, and someone's gonna need that kindness one day. And it flashes to Kyo and Yuki, and it's like, of course, not even just Kyo and Yuki. I guarantee you, like just based on how the show's going, that Toru's kindness will have some effect on the Soma family, like every unit of that family. Which reminds me, there was not nearly enough Shigure in this episode. Where's my husbando? Where's Shigure? Where's my best boy? Give me more best boy. That's what I need. That's what I need. I need my husbando ASAP Rocky. ASAP Rocky? Where did that come from? But yeah, just in the same way, Toru's mom must be super proud. I am so friggin' proud of this girl. I'm so proud of this character that I don't properly know, and I'm only really being introduced to like 3 episodes into this new series. Like, I'm already like, Toru's the best. I'm so proud. Best girl. Protect the smile. And I gotta say too, the soundtrack in pretty much the whole episode, but like in particular the soundtrack during the walk home with Yuki and Toru, plus the Kyo and Toru discussion about plums. It's such a good soundtrack, so perfectly fitting every scene that it's in. It's this like every track that I heard in this episode had this sort of like warm feeling to it, and that's that feeling that I get watching this show. It's like this warm, this comforting feeling almost. Like there's an air of mystery, and that definitely keeps me engaged, right? Like the mysteries of the Soma family, like what is what separates each member of the Soma family, how they get this way, what was up with the opening scene back in episode 1, like all this stuff. You know, I'm definitely intrigued. There's a mystery there, but at the same time, the Soma household and just Toru herself and these characters, it's this warm, inviting sort of show. So the soundtrack purposely reflects that, and it's this really warm, comforting soundtrack, and it manages to like get really sweeping and engaging when the moment calls for it, like the Toru and Yuki scene in the rain, and just it's so good. It's so good. This whole show is so good. One thing I gotta say though that I'm very curious about, like touching on the mysteries, is I want to know what Kyo's relationship is like with the other Zodiacs. Like, we've seen what it's like with Yuki. Like, definitely, like, there's a lot of animosity there. A lot of therapy sessions are probably going to be needed to recover from their animosity. And with Shigure, I can tell like Kyo is sort of like Shigure cares about Kyo cares about Shigure. But there's still that sort of like, oh, Kyo, like, you're a troublemaker. And Kyo's just like, yeah, well, blah, blah, blah. Like, he kind of views Shigure as, like, an older brother type of character, which he is, but, like, their relationship's a lot more stable, I think, than the Yuki-Kyo relationship. But I'm genuinely curious what Kyo's relationship is like with all the other Zodiacs. I'm genuinely curious when we're going to see all the other Zodiacs. We're in episode 3, and we haven't really seen any other Zodiac, except I'm fairly certain that blonde person, I don't know if that was a boy or a girl, that blonde person is more than likely a Zodiac, the one, because, like, the way they reacted, like, oh, Toru Honda, yeah. And I love that Toru's like, I don't speak English. Like, when they're clearly speaking, I'm almost positive that was German. Like, it was so cute and goofy. I was like, oh, Toru, you're so abundantly sweet. And there was a lot of funny moments in this episode, actually. Like the cats being attracted to Kyo. Like all the cats are like, they're just like, oh, Kyo, yay! And the cats just want to be around Kyo. And of course, all the girls were like, oh, it's adorable. Or the two old men who were like stumbling home drunk, and they're like, ah, you two young kids, if you're gonna like, don't hang out here if you're gonna be flirting. And they knock Toru into Yuki. I don't know. It's another episode where it's just so charming. I don't know, man. I'm really, like, sure, like I said earlier in the video, it's definitely not like a hype show, like, oh my god, can't wait for next episode, but it's this sort of show where it's so charming. I can't put it any other way. It's just, yeah, just charming and warm. Those are the two words I would use to describe it. Warm in particular. It's just this show that I'm always happy to watch. And it's like, and we're only 3 episodes in. I can't believe it. And it's already won me over in such a big bad way. I don't know. Fruits Basket's really great. If I had to give this episode anything, it would definitely get another gold star. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think from the first episode starting off with a thumbs up, and now 2 episodes back to back, there's a gold star. I genuinely don't know where the show's gonna go from here. I think it can only really go up. I'm still just stunned how much the show's managed to charm me, especially this episode. It was like, this episode was solely about the Kyo Yuki sort of animosity and how Toru might be able to fix that. And it's just such a, I don't know, warm. I know I keep saying warm and comfort and yada yada, but it's just the easiest way to describe this show. But for now, everybody, that's pretty much gonna wrap up my thoughts on Fruits Basket episode 3. I hope you guys enjoyed. I am really digging where the channel's heading. It's the first time in a while where I've been like genuinely excited to see where the channel's gonna go. The channel's been growing quite a bit. That's really good. I'm glad to hear that. The Patreon's been going really well, and I don't know, it's just a really good time for the channel. I think I think we're in a really good place. But before we go, as always, I have to give a huge kudos to the good folks over on Patreon, in particular the folks in the Earl Grey tier: Omner Garamond, Veridin, Tristan, No For Nothing, Dominic, Evil, Urza, Caden Fate, Gabriel, Sipco Games, and Opinionated Slime. You guys are the best. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until our next meeting, stay rad and don't scary.